Okay, everybody look alive. Nathan over there just lodged a sexual harassment claim against me.
Yeah.
In the HR department, which is me.
Yep.
And I rejected his claim wholeheartedly.
Yep.
Told him to shut the up, get back to work. Okay. All right. This has nothing to do with his hot girlfriend. I don't know what I was thinking. Listen.
Oh, God, I hope she doesn't listen.
She likes it, right? It's funny. Okay.
Oh, God.
I thought it was a very kind offer I made you. All right. So... All right. Oh, by the way, this just in. Carlos Alzraki booked on the Happy Hour podcast, which is very, very exciting. I think you can check it, but I think it's over 11,000 listens to the very first Happy Hour podcast with Carlos. But that was only audio.
Right.
People, by popular demand, want to see his sexy liberalness.
That's right.
So Carlos Alzraki this week on the Happy Hour podcast.
Yes.
And then upcoming weeks, just exciting bookings.
And next week, I believe it's Frangela.
It is very exciting.
I know.
The return of Fred, that is going to be a hot three-way, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Nathan. Anyway, my point is we also have a legal animus, Ian Millhauser.
Oh, my God. You just got everything wrong there.
Millhauser.
Yes.
Legal analyst.
Yes.
I knew that.
He's also the editor of Think Progress Justice.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Dean Obadala, of columnist of the Daily Beast, he has a great take, which is the opposite of a lot of people's. He is a Muslim.
The opposite of his Daily Beast mate.
Michael Tomasky, who we had on yesterday, on the whole, Islam, Bill Maher, Ben Affleck conflagration. And then healthcare expert Jackie Scheckler, live in hour number 3, right there, and all her hotness. All right, so a lot of stuff to get to. Look who's here out of the box.
Carl.
Second time this week.
Carl Frisch, right? Full fight strategy. Rousting him out of bed.
No, he says he still does it from bed.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Why, you saucy little minx, Carl Frisch.
Good morning.
Hi. Are you still in bed?
I am.
Yeah, okay, see, I told you.
Oh, well, that just gives me a whole visual. Now, is Dexter Von Frisch snuggled up next to you?
He is.
Oh.
Nicely done,
Totes
sir.
adorbs.
So gay.
Indeed.
So gay in such a big gay week. Good God. We had to roust you when we got the huge rulings, obviously on marriage equality, because legally they are saying this is an earthquake. Talk about what happened yesterday, because it was a little confusing. So that there was Nevada went ahead with marriage equality, right? And Idaho still has a stay as we speak, right?
Right. So you can imagine that the governor of Idaho,
Butch Otter.
Who sounds like a lesbian I dated in college.
Well, I mean, Otter is a specific kind of gay man, and
Yes.
apparently he's very...
An otter is a skinny bear. Did you know this?
I did not.
Yes.
So he's a very masculine otter, and he was not happy.
I'm sorry, it was Manly Beaver I dated. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay. Oh,
It's
yeah.
not Butch Otter.
All right.
I apologize.
So there was an appeal, and the Supreme Court issued a stay, which was just kind of confusing.
Right.
Yeah.
In Idaho.
Well, as dog owners, I was saying, what does that mean? Does it mean like a stay for your dog? Like stay, stay. Like what is a stay? It just means they have time to present their side of the case, right?
Right. Well, that the Supreme Court may or may not do something with it before marriages begin. And what's interesting is that the Supreme Court just turned down, 5 cases just like this. So
Right.
what they're issuing a stay for is beyond me.
Well, that's what I was asking. What makes Idaho different? I mean, obviously he had blocked. Tell me what happened. I'm a little confused even what happened. There was a stay on Nevada and Idaho. So less than 6 hours after ordering the stay on same-sex marriage in Nevada and Idaho, Kennedy lifted his order, but only for Nevada. So. Yeah, I mean, do you have any idea?
I have no idea why that's happened.
Yeah, and it's hard to jump into Kennedy's head to see why he did that.
The situation may not be identical legally, but I don't see the distinction, frankly.
Yeah.
It's been a very interesting week as we've seen these decisions happen. So the thing about the Supreme Court is that they don't actually explain themselves. So when they recuse themselves, they don't tell you why.
Right, when it's without
when
comment.
They should recuse themselves, they don't have to.
Right. When it's without comment, it's without comment, which is interesting. But, well, we shall see. So as we speak, gay men in Idaho still have to go to Minneapolis Airport to find happiness. Am I correct?
Both of them.
Yes. But thank God. Listen, I was concerned that the sanctity of Britney Spears' 4-hour marriage in Las Vegas would somehow be sullied.
Well, I mean, I think there are plenty of gay men and lesbians who would love to be married by a bachelor, given the opportunity.
But the marriage,
Okay,
the marriage industry in Vegas is very, very happy about that ruling.
Yeah, well, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. By the way,
It means a lot of money for them.
As you know, Dick Armey, his original name was Penis Air Force, but we will, throughout the show, let's play the game of what Butch Daughter's name used to be before he changed it, because it's too weird. Okay. Carl, so what else is going on? Oh, you said they have Twitter in prison? Dinesh D'Souza. Which is worse, Ebola the disease or Obola the dream from his father? Oh, my God.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought he went to jail.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did they allow the Twitter in jail? I did not know.
And as Gawker said, he's just not even trying anymore.
No. I mean, he used to have a feign of, conservative intellectualism behind him.
Yeah.
But this just, this is scraping the bottom of the barrel. And he's obviously upset that he was prosecuted for breaking the law, which he pled guilty to.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and now he seems as surprised as
What he
Teresa.
was convicted of. I believe it had something to do with pretending to, he was passing money through his mistress and a few other people to inflate the campaign account of a woman running for Senate in a state that she had no chance of winning in, New York.
Oh, dear.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
And now he's as surprised he's going to prison as Teresa Giudice is.
I wonder if they're going to get together.
Hey!
She's the Real
Housewives of New Jersey.
And
okay. She said, I thought that's why you had lawyers. It's so
why do you have lawyers? I saw...
So that you wouldn't go to prison.
I saw some...
Yeah, she's the one who screamed prostitution whore and flipped over the table.
She's like, I saw something about Vinny or whatever. I thought I had a lawyer. He's better than Joe Pesci. So...
Two Utes.
Pardon me?
Utes.
The two Utes.
What's wrong with the Utes? You tweeted, if Republican who doesn't believe in climate change tells you what we should do about Ebola, flick them in the nose and tell them to STFU. Yeah, I mean, why would be surprised that they're politicizing this along with every other issue? I love this one. GOP Senate candidate ties ISIS to Mexican drug cartels.
Huh?
What now? I mean, it's...
Yeah, that's why you've got people hopped up on drugs looking for ISIS in high school parking lots.
Right. Right. And then
because of this kind of craziness. I mean, why on earth would we ever trust anything dealing with science or medicine coming out of the Republican Party?
Right.
Specifically when it comes to issues of life and death. This is a party that has denied the existence of something that is very evident for the better part of 15 years.
But no, the second headline today is West Virginia GOP Senate candidate says climate is changing because it's raining outside. What?
Right. Now, that would be weather is changing.
Yeah.
Yeah, climate, weather.
There's a difference between climate and weather.
Right.
I can understand why Republicans have trouble understanding that because, they don't necessarily look at things over a long period of time. But just in case anybody out there listening doesn't know, climate is the study of weather conditions over a long period of time, and weather is what you feel right now.
Should we start a betting pool on how long it will be before some right-wing whack fearmongers about, I'm going to say, an ISIS fighter with Ebola coming across the southern border?
To get married to a gay person.
Because that's what ISIS is all about. Now, Carl, you also alerted me. I had not seen this. You said, funniest you'll read today from Politico, not The Onion. Michelle Bachmann strives to be the anti-Hillary.
Oh, man. It's
nicely
one of the best delusional pieces of journalism you will ever read, ever. And I usually don't recommend Politico, but I got an interview with Michelle Bachmann, and she was telling them that she's the anti-Hillary.
Right.
Not that she's anti-Hillary, but that she's like the bookend to Hillary when it comes to politics.
Well, she is correct in many
just so deliciously stupid.
Meaning, the anti-Hillary, meaning you will never, ever, ever be president. And she will.
Not only will she never, ever, there are certain things, in a certain sense, she is the exact opposite of Hillary. She's not terribly intelligent. Her husband probably doesn't have a problem with ladies.
Well, listen, there could be they could have
no,
something very much in common, their husbands.
I mean, she's a dimwit.
Yeah.
She'll never go further than she did in the House of Representatives. Most people in both parties think she is a joke. You know, when you talk about Senator Clinton, when she was a senator, Republicans and Democrats respected her, and she worked with both sides.
Right.
The list goes on. And at a certain point, I mean, this is what it looks like when essentially, this is what it looks like when the Palin media mystique is watered down in the gene pool,
Right.
and you're left with Michelle Bachmann trying to be a Sarah Palin-light figure to get media attention. She's not as gifted as Sarah Palin or smart, and that's a lot.
Wow. Although you're right, their husbands, Bill Clinton and Michelle Bachmann, they do have something in common, and they're aficionados of the. If you know what I'm saying.
Sure.
All right, Carl. Happy Big Gay Week. We appreciate you taking time for us twice, sir.
Oh, no problem.
All right.
And I'm sure it's only a matter of hours until the next big case comes down in marriage equality. It seems like it's happening every other day.
Well, yeah, Kansas late yesterday.
Right.
There was a one county, I think, in Kansas.
Nothing the matter with
We have
Kansas.
been waiting on Kansas. You know how many people are going to get married on yellow brick roads now?
Yes.
There you go.
Friends of Dorothy, go ahead. All right. Carl, thank you, honey. Talk to you soon.
All right, have a good one.
All right. He might he's on call like a fireman
Yes, he is.
with all the big gay news coming down.
And he's there.
Big gay fireman. Okay. 17 minutes after the hour, right back on the Stephanie Miller Show.
Dude.
It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. 22 minutes after the hour. 1-800-STEP-1-2, the phone number, toll free from anywhere. Why, look, it's my little sidekick, Sue in Rockville. Hello, Sue.
Hey, good morning. Before I get to my main point, I just want you all to know, because Carlos said this, I had the podcast yesterday, and you've said it, Chris, Israel is helping. They're just helping behind the scenes.
Okay.
The last thing Israel and the Jews need is for everyone to say, let's blame the Jews, because the old Tom, I can't remember his name, song, and everybody hates the Jews.
Right.
So Israel's not going to put you public there. They have always been behind the scenes. They've got incredible technology.
There is some inflammatory feeling toward the Jews in the Middle East. Is that what you're implying?
I don't know. I get a message or two from my family once in a while.
Okay.
But my real point is about this very important discussion about Islam and what's happening and how we're supposed to react and with these crazy ISIL people, etc.
Right.
And I really think that the way to look at it is that Islam is like a very bad teenager right now. They are the youngest of the major religions, Hinduism being the oldest, Jews are 57, 75, Christianity. When you look at the Crusades at 1,000 years ago, it's because Christianity was only 1,000 years old then, relatively speaking, young.
Right.
So, and as we know, Islam is 3 major sects with dozens of minor sects, and far more Islams have killed other Muslims than they've killed Westerners.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Yeah.
So the thing is, understand that doesn't make it easy. I'm just saying that their perspective is understanding that it's almost like we're this little, no one's paying attention to us, and we're going to fight and establish what is our identity, who are we really as a people, which one of those sects is going to be the one that ends up taking over the major portion. I personally don't know. It's why I am glad I'm an atheist.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Dean Obadala will join us. But, I think it is interesting to get tape from a Muslim who I think that, that is part of the danger is smearing how many billions of, Muslims there are on the planet with one brush because,
Right. And again, one of the most important things one has to look at the billionaires, the royals, whether it's Qatar, whether it's Saudi Arabia, whether it's Pakistan. I believe the president of Pakistan is like the second richest billionaire in that whole region. They have a vested interest in letting ISIL keep control because they don't want to bring moderation to their people because they would have to share their wealth.
Right. And I think that, again, it doesn't help when they see us smearing an entire, race or religion. But what I keep saying gives me hope are like younger and younger, the kids doing the, not in my name hashtag and stuff like that in the Muslim youth.
Exactly. It's the same thing that happens with groups like Seeds of Peace in the Middle East, where we can only hope. I've got bar babies. I have to hope for a better and a more peaceful future. I can't.
Right.
So, but
Well,
there's still something immediate.
For someone that has the judgment to bring the aforementioned babies to a bar to meet me,
Why
I'm just
is that
saying.
a problem? Everyone's happy.
Okay. Okay. All right. I'm putting in context. See, they don't do that on the Sunday shows. They don't put in context who is speaking and their relative judgment.
Well, I always say about the whores of corporate media, they are owned wholly by the coke-suckers, and as Molly Ivins said, but I would say it worse, is they've got to suck them that brought them.
Yeah, exactly. I'll never forget when we first met. I said,
"Look at you! You have a baby in a bar."
All right.
That baby is 7.
Oh, wow. Yikes, I'm old. All right. Thanks, Sue.
Bye.
Love you. Bye. Okay, Philip in Chicago. Hey, Phil.
Well, I borrowed somebody's newspaper in the lobby and opened up the Wall Street Journal. And then Karl Rove, Mr. Columnist, who can say whatever he wants. Total misrepresentation, deception. It is Karl Rove being Karl Rove.
Right.
Right.
I was going to say you sounded a little shocked with that, which was
No.
which was momentarily adorable, but go ahead.
It was so appalling that
Yeah.
he could blame everything on Obama for not reaching out to the GOP Congress.
Oh, really? Is that what it
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, he didn't reach out to the GOP Congress.
Yeah.
Like Reagan and Clinton did.
Oh, I see. Right.
That's
Yeah, I
all.
remember all that. Okay. Oh, by the way,
What?
Fight.
What? Where?
Brent Bozell.
Of the Media Research Center?
Right.
Okay.
They frequently suss out liberal bias in liberal radio.
On Newsbusters. That's their site,
They've
too.
Caught me a few times.
Yeah.
Yikes. Kick Karl Rove out of the GOP, says Media Research Center Brent Bozell. A feud has started
I love it.
between Brent Bozell. It had laid dormant. It was a dormant feud.
Oh, okay.
Yes. This is the Sunni Shiite feud of the Republican Party.
I see.
Right.
Okay.
So Bozell wrote a piece. Karl Rove is running the GOP, accusing Rove of opposing conservative candidates in the past. It even says that Rove fought against Ronald Reagan before he won in 1980. Oh, no, not St. Ronnie. Zombie Reagan is going to rise. Justice shall be his. And then he said it's now time to conservatives to make sure Karl Rove no longer has any influence on their party. No more of their reindeer games. Karl Rove may not play.
From now on, gang, we won't let Rudolph join in any reindeer games.
Oh, no, he is the fat kid with the rock. The glasses. Oh, no, he's Piggy in Lord of the Flies.
Right? Oh, Lord.
Bozell said Rove was never conservative. An associate of Rove's fired back, calling Bozell a hater with weird axes to grind. Fight. Boys, don't fight. You're both horrible, awful human beings.
Brent Bozell, oh, God, he is like conservative royalty by marriage. Like he married, what's his name's daughter?
Who?
Oh, Lizard, the guy with the lizard that Jim does. You know.
Oh, William F. Buckley?
Yes, I think Brent Bozell married William F. Buckley's daughter or something. So he's like conservative royalty by marriage.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anyway.
How did I?
He is looking more and more like Piggy. I'm just saying. Very Lord of the Flies, whatever's happening over there. Just circling for each other.
All up in there.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, by the way, 4,564 reason that we are a dumb country. Americans stocking up on a bowl of survival gear.
Oh,
We will
cool.
talk about that. We will talk to Ian Millhiser as we continue on the Stephanie Miller Show. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. Dino Badala coming up at the top of the hour. Comedian, writer extraordinaire. Jackie Schechner live in hour number 3. All the questions I just asked you during the commercial break about all the rulings on marriage equality, what
Yes.
did you say?
I said ask Ian.
Okay, Ian Millhiser, who is a legal analyst extraordinaire for the, editor of Think Progress Justice, actually, joins us now. Good morning, Ian.
Good morning. It's good to be here.
Thank you. We are calling this Ask Ian because there is a lot of stuff happening very quickly. Am I correct?
There is. I mean, it even confuses me, some of it.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
Okay, there's no hope for us then. Try to explain what happened. I'm reading, sort of one headline after another. Breaking Supreme Court restores same-sex marriage in Nevada.
Right.
Justice, you have a headline this morning. Breaking Justice Kennedy halts same-sex marriage in Idaho. Explain what's happened for those of us that are dumb. Let me just put it that way.
I wouldn't put it that way because it's really confusing.
Right.
So there's this weird dance the Supreme Court's doing. As of Monday, there were 3 federal appeals courts that held that the Constitution requires marriage equality, and the only thing keeping marriage equality from happening in the 14 states that those courts oversee was the fact that they were stayed, and the decisions were stayed until the Supreme Court had a chance to weigh in on it.
Okay.
And then Monday morning, the court weighed in. They said, we don't want to take any of these cases. And so, poof, you have 14 new states that, there's still a little procedural mess that they have to go through, but they're, the 14 states, if they aren't already in those courts, are going to become marriage equality states. And that's great news if you happen to live in those states. But here's the thing. On Tuesday, the Ninth Circuit, another court had down another marriage equality order. Idaho asked for a stay. Justice Kennedy gave it to them. And, Justice Kennedy has a pretty good gay rights record, so I think he's eventually going to get to saying everyone gets marriage equality, even if you live in Idaho. Mm-hmm. But they seem to be they want to slow walk this so much. They seem to be determined to get us to marriage equality as slowly and as in many incremental steps as possible, and I'm worried that we don't know who's going to be president in 2017. Mm-hmm. We don't know who they're going to put on the court.
So we are kids in the backseat. We can see the Tasty Freeze, but Dad is going like 7 miles an hour.
Yeah, and I'm saying, are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Right. But isn't that the way the courts usually are?
Well,
it's a slow, deliberative process.
Right. So here's the thing. I am a believer in judicial restraint. The name of my book, which, by the way, everyone should go buy, is called Injustices, the Supreme Court's History of Comforting the Comfortable and Afflicting the Afflicted.
Yeah.
So I understand that the court has a history, when it is not cautious, of doing really terrible things. Normally, judicial caution is a good thing. Mm-hmm. But here's the problem. Where was this Supreme Court's caution in Citizens United? Where was it when they strike down the Voting Rights Act? Where was it when they said that your boss gets to decide whether or not you get birth control coverage?
Right.
They seem to be really interested in being really restrained in this one area of the law, gay rights, and everywhere else they bring out their bazooka and and they enact the policies that they want to enact.
Yeah, just as I was reading the title of your book, a story came up on my news feed that said billionaires now outnumber pandas in the world. So thank God we're comforting the afflicted so much. Well, Ian, so I guess what people are, I was curious what happened just today, because I thought he had said go ahead, Nevada was like go ahead, but now Nevada is waiting.
Yeah, the county clerks in both Clark and Washoe counties, where Las Vegas and Reno are, said that they're waiting for another ruling from the Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals.
Right. So the Nevada thing is particularly confusing. What happened in Nevada is when Justice Kennedy handed down that order suspending marriages in Idaho, he accidentally printed the case number that corresponds with the Nevada case as well.
Oh.
Oops.
Okay.
On the order. And so there were several hours where it looked like the Supreme Court had suspended marriages in Nevada, even though Nevada never asked them to.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was a big accident.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oops, as they say in Texas. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so now we're just, we're waiting for, when the Supreme Court commits a goof, as it turns out, it takes a day or two for everyone to fix it.
Wow.
Yeah. Even yesterday, I think it was the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Bureau, on their website, they had a big banner that said, "Here comes the pride, come get, gay married here." And then they had to take that down because of the Supreme Court's mistake.
Right. Yeah. No, it's and again, it's not always mistakes. This is why I just wrote a book about how the Supreme Court has done so many terrible things in history.
Right.
Because they wield this tremendous power, and in this case, it was literally just a goof. And it means
wow.
there are all these people whose rights are being suspended because of an error.
Well, okay, but so then what does that mean for Nevada? So now they have to go to the Ninth Circuit?
So what this means, the procedural steps of it is that the mistaken order, it suspended what's called the mandate. The mandate is just the order from the Ninth Circuit saying, okay, this thing that we've said that you have to do, now you have to go do it. so the mandate was pulled back by the Ninth Circuit. And so the Ninth Circuit, because of all this confusion, has now asked for more briefing to explain whether they can go ahead and reissue it. I think their answer is going to be yes, we can, because, again, courts don't unrule something because someone makes a goof.
Right.
But, it could be days because of this silly little mistake that Justice Kennedy made.
Well, as I said, thank God, Britney Spears' 4-hour marriage in Las Vegas, the sacredness of that will remain intact then, at least for another few days. We'll be safe from the homo gays.
If there's anywhere where marriage is absolutely sanctified, it is Las Vegas.
That's correct. Thank God only straight couples can still get married in the Elvis Chapel. Okay, now, talk to us about Idaho, because, Butch Otter, the governor, Republican governor, said he was glad Kennedy acted quickly, but I'm reading the delay could last just a few days. Kennedy's order requested a response from the plaintiffs involves in Idaho's gay marriage by the end of today, correct?
Right.
So,
this is a very temporary stay that Kennedy issued. He basically said, I'm going to hold the status quo in place until all of us here on the Supreme Court has had a chance to look at it and decide what we really want to do. And once they decide what they really want to do, they could extend the stay, they could dissolve the stay, they could conceivably, they won't take the case yet, but they could extend the stay at least until they decide whether or not to take the case. If they dissolve the stay, if they say that marriage equality can go into effect in Idaho, though, watch for that, because that's a really big deal. If they dissolve the stay, that's another tell that no matter how slowly they're going to do it, they are on the path to saying marriage equality for all.
Well, Ian, we've had this conversation a few times, but, we've had a few things that seem like a tipping point, but it seems like when we get to 60% is it going to be 60% of the country that will have marriage equality? I mean, that really is a sense of whatever you want to call it, right? Inevitability, momentum, where legally it's going to be hard to go back, isn't it?
No, I think that's right. I mean, it would be profoundly cruel for the Supreme Court to say to people in a dozen states that, yeah, you can get married, and then a year or two later turn around and say, oh, just kidding.
Right.
You didn't say no backseas. So,
but isn't that all
that's
this...
a legal term, no backsies.
Yes, that was very...
Is that Latin?
I think it's medieval French.
Yeah.
But Ian, I think isn't that how this all started out here in California with Prop 8 about it being legally the first time that people voted to take away rights from people who already had them. And Chris was noting the rich irony of that Utah is the one that started all this with us.
Yeah.
With their money, with the Mormon money flooding in here. And now, guess what? Gays can marry in Utah. Ha ha.
Right.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, until we get the order saying marriage equality is the law of the land, nothing is safe. And, even then the Supreme Court could conceivably overrule it, although it's less likely. But I do think the fact that having extended these rights to so many people, it would make it really hard for them to take them back. And Justice Kennedy, this is the one thing he's been really good on. He's terrible on Citizens United. He's terrible on birth control. He's not even particularly good on abortion, although people seem to think he is. But on gay rights, he thinks the gays are fabulous. And that's the one thing where I think, it's fairly likely that Justice Kennedy is going to do the right thing.
Which ruling did he use the word fabulous in, Ian?
I think that was the Lawrence decision.
Okay, good, yes.
The fabulosity was noted. Well, in terms of the backseat question, are we there yet? What are you, I think I was confused when you were saying you're concerned about who might be president. How would that affect this?
Well, I mean, the issue is that if in 2017 we have a different president who doesn't support gay rights and who thinks that we need more justices like Alito or Scalia or people like that, Justice Ginsburg's 81 years old. Justice Breyer and Justice Kennedy are both well into their 70s. And if just one of those seats flip, not only do you potentially lose the marriage equality opinions, because Windsor was only 5-4, but you potentially lose, there's only 5 votes on the court right now for Lawrence, which was the case saying that the government can't ban sex.
Yeah.
So, you could, if one of those seats flips, the government could start banning sex acts again, conceivably.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I've done that voluntarily without any help from the government, just because no one wants to. Ian, now, but I guess my point is, what is your thinking on when we could have marriage equality nationwide?
So it really depends on what the lower courts do. There are two courts, the Fifth and the Sixth Circuit, that have marriage equality cases pending before them. Those are both conservative courts. In the Sixth Circuit, we could get a decision any day now. In the Fifth Circuit, we could get one within months. And I think that both of those courts are likely to go the wrong way.
Are those the ones that the Cincinnati and New Orleans?
So that's right. So,
okay.
The Sixth Circuit is many of the Midwestern states,
right.
Ohio, Michigan, Kentucky, and Tennessee isn't really a Midwestern state, but it's lumped into the Sixth Circuit. Yeah. And then the Fifth Circuit is some of the southern states. It's right. Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi.
That would be an interesting one.
That would be a very interesting one.
Yeah.
So, especially when you think of where the Fifth Circuit is located, it's a very conservative court. I would be very surprised if the Fifth Circuit eventually sides with marriage equality. And once there's a disagreement, Justice Ginsburg has said publicly to the press that once there's a disagreement amongst the Court of Appeals, they're likely to take it. So the Sixth Circuit could rule today, potentially.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, they could rule today or they could rule 6 months from now. We don't know.
Right.
But, it's been pending, and any day now we could get a decision. Once there's a disagreement, if the Sixth Circuit disagrees, I think they're likely to take it this term, and we'll hear the answer in June.
Okay.
So, by the way, just because news is breaking so quickly, the headline I'm reading, Justice Kennedy allows gay marriage in Nevada. Is there something that's changed since we've been talking? I mean, or is this still
No, that's still his late ruling from yesterday, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's where he corrected his mistake.
Right.
Okay. All right. Got it. But they're still going to the Ninth Circuit.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Whew. I understand you have a book, Ian. I don't know if you've mentioned that yet.
And you can pre-order it now, is that correct?
That's right. So the title, once again, is Injustices, the Supreme Court's History of Comforting the Comfortable and Afflicting the Afflicted. And it's all about, starting with Dred Scott and to the modern day, how the Supreme Court has really been a harmful institution. I talk about child labor laws in there. I talk about this terrible case where the Supreme Court said that the government can sterilize women against their will.
Oh, my God.
I know. This is a thing.
How long ago was that?
This was in the early 20th century. At the same time that the justices were saying that bosses have a constitutional right to exploit their workers, they said, but women don't have a constitutional right not to be sterilized.
Wow. By the way, did you see, who was it, one of our friends on the religious right, they compared the marriage equality rulings to Dred Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and yes. Then they came at me when I said, hey, maybe that wasn't the best analogy.
Oh, hilarious. All right, Ian, great stuff as always. Thanks for taking time with us.
No, thank you. And once again, please, everyone go buy my book. Google my name and the word injustices. It should come up.
And we have links to it at StephanieMiller.com and at Stephanie Miller's Facebook page.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ian. All right. There you go. Oh, my God. That was almost that Simpsons. Buy my book. Okay.
No,
we gotta get
that was the critic, actually. Yes.
But please, buy his book.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, really. It does sound interesting.
No, it sounds great. 48 minutes after the hour. Right back on the Stephanie Miller Show. Yeah. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Oh, okay. 1-800-STEP-1-2, the phone number. Toll free from anywhere. All right. So back to the happy clappy news. Ebola. Let's talk Ebola. So we mentioned this. I guess the news broke while we were on yesterday that the Ebola patient Thomas Eric Duncan died at the Dallas hospital yesterday. Some of his family still remain under quarantine. It's just very sad. A Dallas County judge and a family pastor went to the house to tell the woman that he had planned to marry that he had died. She went on to thank Dallas officials and the church and the Liberian communities for their support, but also call for a closer look into the care that Duncan received. Obviously,
absolutely.
The family speaking out because he was the one that he was turned away.
Right.
For 3 days or something, given antibiotics or something.
Yeah. And, my Facebook feed yesterday was filled with people who went all conspiratorial saying, the government let him die. No, the government did not let him die. The hospital did make a mistake.
Well,
so the hospital...
So did they at this hospital in Spain. I mean, there is going to be human error. It's no reason for panic and pandemonium
right.
and but obviously human error is going to happen. This is what happened.
Absolutely.
The Spanish nurse who was the first person to contract Ebola outside Africa may have touched her face with the gloves of her protective suit when she was caring for the priest who died. What about the dog? I know.
They had to euthanize the poor dog.
Did they do it already?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, they saw him on the balcony yesterday.
Yeah,
that was heartbreaking. They ordered the dog belonging to the nurse and her husband to be put down because it lived in close contact. According to scientific information, Ebola antibodies have been found in dogs, indicating dogs can carry the virus in their blood, although they don't show symptoms. The government said in a statement, adding there's no guarantee dogs do not transfer the virus through bodily fluids. But heartbreaking, you know.
Yeah.
By the way, so Thomas Eric Duncan, his body will be cremated, say state health officials. CDC guidelines say remains infected with Ebola can be cremated or buried promptly in a hermetically sealed casket. I heard an interview yesterday with a somebody in funeral services, and it was interesting. The host was saying, "Would you be freaked out? Would you take a patient with Ebola?" And thank God for people that he was like, "Of course." We have science now, and he related it to was the AIDS crisis. And if you saw that movie, remember the hospital gave the mother the son in a garbage bag and said we were not going to touch it because he said we didn't have science and we didn't have the education behind us to know.
I was getting in a conversation with somebody on Facebook yesterday saying how much this reminded me of the AIDS crisis. The guy was saying we need to shut down all flights from these. We can't let these people touch us and whatever. I'm like. I heard the same things back in the early 80s.
Yeah, and if you just saw, what was the movie? Why do I keep forgetting?
Normal Heart.
Yeah, I mean, but that's how heartbreaking that was. And he said because there was so much fear, we didn't have the education or the science. He said we know because there was a mistake made at a Dallas hospital or a hospital in Spain, it doesn't mean they don't have the science right now to know that it's not airborne. It's this, it's this, it's this.
Exactly.
So... anyway, but here's why we are a dumb country at the end of the day.
Okay.
Americans stocking up on Ebola survival gear. I love this. Health officials say Americans do not need to stock up on survival gear. So, of course, that means that's why we're stocking up on survival gear immediately. The head of epidemiology at University of California, Berkeley, said, I really can't see that's an appropriate or reasonable response. It's reasonable for people to be concerned, though I would argue that they should be more concerned about the dreadful situation in West Africa.
Yeah.
The fact is we don't have transmission on the Ebola virus here in the community. I just can't see why anybody would want to spend money on these kinds of things in response to concern about Ebola. Because we're dumb, and there's suckers born every day. And you know who I bet you sold some more timeshares?
Who?
You know.
Are you tired of your government taking away liberties and freedoms you can't quite name? Are your vague platitudes and third-hand anecdotal facts falling on deaf ears? Well, come secede, or sec-D with us, in the Teabagger Utopia.
Glenn, Becky, Stan.
I will personally come to your house and help you pack.
Your hard-earned money is yours to keep. There are no taxes in
Glenn, Becky, Stan.
Of course there are no roads, bridges, police, fire protection, no teachers, hospitals, libraries, garbage pickup, or sewage treatment in
Glenn, Becky, Stan.
But hey, who cares about that big government nonsense? You'll feel like our founding fathers as you struggle against the elements, fending off wild animals and your fellow teabaggers when provisions run low and their survivalist training kicks in.
Get off my land!
Who needs government? It's overrated. Join us in
Glenn, Becky, Stan.
We have freedoms with none of the responsibilities. You want to shoot your gun in any direction? Go ahead. Want to lock your wife and children in the basement? Nobody's asking questions. Remember, freedom isn't free, but with a small down payment, it can be yours for a song.
Above the fruited plain. Glenn, Becky, Stan.
Our future is in the past.
All right. Wow. For $2.99, we can get Ebola, Natural Remedies, and Government Conspiracies. That's a new ebook. I'll tell you what else is available.
Natural Remedies Fight Viruses?
Dopes.
Oh, Lord.
Okay. Right back on the Stephanie Miller Show. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. 6 minutes after the hour. 1-800-STEP-12, the phone number. Toll free from anywhere. All right. Let me finish this fun facts before we get to Dean on why Americans are dumb. D-U-M, dumb. Americans are stocking up on Ebola survival gear.
Oh, Lord.
Which, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, doctors say is completely unnecessary. Nonetheless, Life Secure has sold more than 100 extended infection protection emergency supply kits since the first case of Ebola was. Survivalists or doomsday preppers are also selling advice. For $2.99, Kindle owners, pay attention. You can now own Ebola, Natural Remedies, and Government Conspiracies, which is a new ebook.
Oh.
Remember, I got the email about vitamin C.
Yeah.
Should take care of it for you. Okay. It also accuses the U.S. and the CDC of knowingly allowing the deadly virus to come to America.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. There's also been an uptick in purchases of Ebola-themed merchandise, such as neckties, earrings, and coffee mugs.
Souvenirs? Does the coffee mug have a picture of the squiggly virus on it?
Consumers can also purchase plush toys shaped like the microscopic image of the virus.
I've seen that.
Wouldn't that be fun?
There's a line of plush toys that are shaped like different viruses and bacteria.
Can you get dog toys like that? That's fabulous.
Yeah,
okay.
Give them to dogs.
Items like these have been available for years, really. Okay. Adweek notes, but their sales have increased in recent months because
Ebola.
We are dumb.
Because Ebola.
Right. Most Americans not worried they'll be exposed to Ebola, according to a Pew survey. 58, that's nearly 60%.
I've heard.
Are confident the federal government can prevent an outbreak. 32% are the dummies who are buying this because they are dumb. Hello, I would like to order an Ebola necktie and an emergency kit and the book about how ginkgo biloba will cure it.
I don't think ginkgo biloba is for Ebola.
It's for everything. No, fish oil. Fish oil should solve it.
And melatonin. They'll just put you to sleep so you don't worry about it.
That little squiggly Ebola thing, like it's probably squiggling along, and it's like, no, eat flaxseed oil.
And it just gets.
I'm out.
And it just gets straight.
Ding. Listen, this is about as scientific advice as you're going to hear and get in that ebook.
Well, that's true.
All right, let's talk to our good friend. Yeah.
Here he comes. Yes, it's Dino Badala. Yes, it's Dino Badala. Dino Badala.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Hey, can we just say one thing?
Yes.
Muslims across America are happy we're finally talking about something else with Ebola and ISIS, okay? So let's just go like this. There's a silver lining. There's a second silver lining. Did you see what Rick Wiles, the Christian broadcaster, said? Ebola will cleanse the U.S. of atheists, gay people, and sluts.
Yes.
Which are three of my favorite people. So that's kind of rough. They're all gone, but you know what? The show goes on.
That would make a very unfun country.
Wow.
It would be. I mean, you know, and there's people in each of those groups that are just a lot of fun to hang out with.
Wow.
Let's be honest.
Yes.
What can I tell you?
Wow, and as a gay slut, I'm going to be the first to go. Now...
So it's a crazy time. Ebola's taking up all the... ISIS has got to be upset with Ebola. I mean, and it's a matter of time until they claim responsibility, or Fox News says Muslims have created Ebola. I'm waiting for that. Anything for Hannity to go, it's Muslims. Ebola is an Arabic word.
Dean, as a helper, I already suggested just projecting that scary Ebola thread over ISIS. I think that might be the only thing that will turn them back from the border of Turkey.
Send them over. How long till Ted Cruz wears one of those orange suits from Outbreak from now on, walking around Texas? I can't wait till that happens. Like, everything's safe, everything's fine, I'm just wearing this suit.
He's so ridiculous. Don't you love, by the way, we didn't mention that yesterday, Chris, but after these, wave of marriage equality rulings, he's such an idiot. I'm going to have a constitutional amendment to stop it. It's like, all right, you just keep spinning on your back. He's so irritating.
Ted Cruz,
Ted Cruz.
Yeah, these guys are not, but, they're not going to go down easily in a way because they want, they'll use it for any way they can, raising funds and ginning up like a little fear. But, they're not going to, given doesn't matter. And the idea of a constitutional amendment is a joke, but it does get people to go like, you know what, Ted, you're right. It's just Texas and Oklahoma are different places in this country. Oklahoma, really some crazy stuff going on there.
Yeah. So, Dean, obviously, I read your piece a few days ago because clearly this whole, the Bill Maher, Ben Affleck fight about Islam on real time. Everybody's talking about it.
Manila, except it was in Pasadena. I'm not sure what studio.
Now, you, as a Muslim and co-director of the documentary "The Muslims Are Coming,"
yes,
right.
You wrote a piece called "Bill Maher's Muslim Problem," and I heard a lot of people say that, Dean. But obviously, you pointed out one of the glaring things: there was no Muslim on the panel, and I said yesterday on the show he needs to book Dean Obadal on the show because
the conversation. It would be like. Look, Fox News does this. I mean, let's be honest. The five white people sit around and talk about Michael Brown and Ferguson. But Bill Maher should hold himself to a slightly higher standard. 2 shows in a row he talked about Islam and Muslim. And if you want to have a real conversation about it, that'll be great.
Well, it was
I'm writing an article right now, but let's have a real conversation about Islam in a responsible way, in an educated, intelligent way, a respectful way.
It reminded me of that Republican panel on women's health that featured all men.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
It's the same thing. thing, and so people go crazy, but some people are coming to the game late and didn't know why there's such a backlash to Bill Maher by not just Muslims, but many liberals, not all, but many. It's that Maher has a history of making comments about Muslims over the years, and that was in my article. If this was the first time he ever said this stuff, we would just be puzzled. Like, well, he's a liberal. Why is he saying this?
Right.
So we wouldn't be angry. We'd be like, it's a little concerning, but I'm not sure what's up. The guy has said so many things I put in my article. Even one thing I didn't put in my article, in 2011, he was on with Anderson Cooper, and he said, Muslims are violent. They're bringing that desert stuff to our world. That desert stuff to our world? Who says that? That's like such smacks of bigotry.
Yeah.
Well, you'd pointed out in 2012 when he discussed how women are unfairly treated in certain Muslim countries, which is truly an issue deserving of discussion. But you said Maher chose not to rely on facts. He said talk to women who ever dated an Arab man. The results are not good. And you said your Sicilian mother not only dated an Arab man, she married him, and by all accounts the results were great.
I didn't mean me, because people are like, you're talking about yourself. I didn't mean it like that. They had a great marriage, and it worked out well, and there was no little crusades going on in our house, and my mother didn't convert to Islam. I mean, there was more of a likelihood my Sicilian mother was going to get my dad to convert to Catholicism than any chance that she was going to convert to Islam.
Yeah.
But that kind of stuff is the things that worry you. And I also know in the article, a year before that, he said something you would expect to hear on Fox News. He said the number one name in Great Britain of babies now is Muhammad. Anyone else alarmed by that? I am. I hope, you call me a racist, but I'm alarmed by that. You alarmed by a high birth rate of Muslims in a country? It's just a natural demographic change. It'd be like white people saying I'm alarmed by 2040 we're going to be a minority, and it's outrageous and I'm really afraid. There are people who say that. They're bigots on the right, but they say that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you were saying Fox News The Five. You say when you're a progressive and a gaggle of Fox News hosts praise your views, you know something is seriously wrong.
Something has happened. Someone in this equation is going crazy. I'm not sure who you're going to blame. But again, after this outburst, Media Matters, and you may have had Eric on this week, wrote an article showing all the Fox News shows that have praised Bill Maher over this entire week after this thing. And Greg Gutfeld calling Ben Affleck Caliphate Crusaders, and actually implying, some of the conservatives implying, Ben Affleck is almost unloyal to America, and it's the ridiculous demonization by Affleck just for standing up and saying, don't define Muslims by the worst examples. That's just not fair, and that's exactly the issue.
Well, and it's interesting. I mean, I think a lot of what doesn't help is the misinformation. And you were saying you agree with Maher about, female genital mutilation. It's horrific.
I'm against it.
Right, but you were saying it's, pardon me?
I'm completely against it. Although some women I've dated probably would accuse me of that. But it's my own inabilities to understand women.
But you were saying that Reza Aslan pointed out, it's based on African culture, not Islam. So it's just, I think you're right. There's so much sort of, misinformation when you were saying he cited a Pew poll saying 90% of Egyptians support the death penalty for those who left as Islam. You said it was 64%, which you said is still high, but it's not 90, and also Egypt doesn't represent the entire Muslim world, right?
Well, and that's part of it. I mean, Bill Maher looked at those poll numbers, and he may have had another poll. I'm not saying he's lying about the numbers. There may have been another poll. This was the most recent poll I found.
Right.
In that same poll, it said Turkey, only less than 5% of Muslims believe you should get the death penalty for leaving the faith. And that's an equal number of Muslims as there are in Egypt. And the whole point is, it's not monolithic. There's no Muslim world. We use that term all the time. If you want to talk about the Muslims in Egypt and why their views are alarming on this issue, that's a very fair conversation. I'm happy to have that. But don't leave out Turkey in your same thing and go, why doesn't Turkey do that? Why are there other Muslim countries where the numbers are extremely low? Indonesia, the most populous Muslim country in the world, over 200 million, there's about 15% that think you should have it. It's more specific to the culture and the country they're living in, not in the faith, because if it was, it would be universal. Everyone would have the same views on it. They don't, because it's not defined by the faith in a way that's like it's mandated. Like this is the way it has to be. There are Islamic scholars who will debate it all the time. Who go, some say you should get that penalty, some say you shouldn't. In reality, you see very few cases of anyone getting that penalty whatsoever. We had the case in Sudan, and they ended up dropping the case, and she was able to leave. I think it's outrageous that someone should lose their life or threaten any kind of criminalization for leaving their faith. But I'm born in America. I have this idea of freedom of religion that I believe in very fiercely, and so that's I view it as wrong.
And you say, painting all Muslims by the most extreme of our faith is wrong. And you were quoting what Nick Kristof said on the panel. He said this does have a tinge, a little bit of how white racists talk about African Americans.
That's exactly, and Christoph went on to say, and he got interrupted. He said, because you're picking and he was going to say, no doubt, the worst elements of that community to define the entire African American community, and that would be completely wrong, and we would push up against that. If anyone said that, a liberal would say that's completely wrong. And Bill Maher, the liberal, I would think, would understand it. And I don't here's the thing. Bill Maher wants to effectuate change in the Muslim world in countries, and I'm with him on so many of the issues. The idea in Saudi Arabia women can't drive, ridiculous, or that they have to be covered up by law, that's outrageous to me, or that gays are persecuted, absolutely horrific. Let's talk about it by a country-by-country basis. It's not an Islamic thing. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about country-by-country, the laws, the countries that have it. And the problem is Bill Maher's words are not reaching the Muslim world. They're not changing their views. They don't even hear them.
Right.
It's reaching other Americans who then look at Muslim Americans like me and my friends and my young family, cousins, and stuff, and look at them as like, my God, these people are barbaric.
Yeah.
As if we subscribe to those same views, and that's where it's irresponsible to me.
Well, and as we say, you can turn it around and go, it's like Muslims thinking all Christians are represented by the guy who shot Dr. Tiller to death in church here in America, right? Or anyone, the guy I just said, who said, the Christian broadcaster who said Ebola is a good thing, it gets rid of the gays, atheists, and sluts. Does that man represent Christianity? Does Brian Fisher from the AFA, who said, the Nazi stormtroopers had to be gays because only gays would be that vicious? Does that represent Christianity? No, but he has a big following, Brian Fisher. Yeah.
And you don't hear, and you see Republicans like Mike Huckabee and Newt Gingrich and stuff go on his radio show, don't have any problems with those issues. So,
and I was going to say, Dean, your other piece I thought was really important. Someone made this point last hour, but you said, it's ISIS' gruesome Muslim death toll. The group's killing of Westerners gets attention, but ISIS has killed far more Muslims. And I think that's a really important point, right?
Oh, I wrote that for the Daily Beast, and that came out Tuesday. It was a busy guy this week, writing a bunch of stuff, some for CNN and for my home Daily Beast, but once in a while I'm going to write for CNN again. There was a UN report that came out last Thursday, got almost no media coverage, and this 26-page report goes through the people that ISIS has killed, or the civilians that have been killed in Iraq, only from January through September. And they actually break it down by religion, which I've never seen this, including sects of religion, Shia or Sunnis, and ISIS are Sunni Muslims, and they want support from the Sunni world. Well, this report talks about all the Sunnis they've killed, including beheading Sunnis, killing Muslim women who were doctors because they didn't want to put a religious veil on, and they had a little protest. They shot a doctor in the back of the head. They just executed her. Mm-hmm. Hundreds and thousands of Muslims have been killed. In fact, every day they're slaughtering Muslims because 90% of Iraq is Muslim, so that's who they're killing. It's really the Christians are fleeing, and the Muslims are staying and being slaughtered by them, and we don't talk about that. I think we.
Well, I mean, that's why I keep mentioning this, Muslim youth starting the hashtag "Not in My Name."
Right.
That's what it's going to take. I mean, obviously, to start these 5 Arab nations that are with us, because rising up and saying this is not our version of Islam, right?
Well, and partly, and as I write my article, the media hopefully will talk about the Muslim victims of ISIS, not just our media, but the media in the Middle East, because maybe it will motivate some Muslim countries that are on the fence because they're not sure what to do because they have people in their own community or their country that might support some ISIS vision. I'm hoping not, but that could be part of it. You have to live in the reality. But when they see they're slaughtering their fellow Sunni Muslims every single day, and it's documented in detail, I'm hoping that will move people in those countries to go like, you know what, ISIS is horrific. They're not Muslim at all, and we have to stop them because ISIS wants to grow into a massive military machine, like the old days of Salahuddin, like a Muslim army that can march on other countries and truly unite the Middle East as some crazily right-wing world. And it is alarming.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Dean, you are a delight, sir. I've gone way too long because I could just talk to you forever and ever.
And no one, they just stop listening after a while because it's boring. But you, thank God you're there, keeping it alive. And I hope that, everyone stays safe. And I just want to condemn Ebola. As a Muslim, I think it's important. We can have anything bad.
Thank you.
We have nothing to do with Ebola.
Sir, thank you for taking a strong stand. I appreciate it.
Okay, what Henry says next week, I'm inoculating everyone from that accusation. We did nothing to do with Ebola.
All right. Thank you, Dean. See you soon, sir. All right, bye-bye. There he goes. Dean Obladi. 21 minutes after the hour, this hour of the Stephanie Miller Show, brought to you by GoToMeeting. Why? Because we love it.
We do.
At the Stephanie Miller Show, we use it all the time. Good communication, crucial for any business, right? Chris and I are right here, but we have other people. We have shadowy figures in our organization.
Yes, we do.
They're from back east.
Yeah.
And we can't afford travel. I mean, come on. It's a pain. So if people you work with aren't in the same office, even in the same town, and it's just a hassle, millions of business professionals rely on Citrix GoToMeeting to connect remote clients and coworkers just like we do. You should too. It's the proven solution for meeting and collaborating online. And if you sign up for GoToMeeting by tomorrow, that's tomorrow, you'll get another Citrix product of your choice free for 6 months.
Ooh.
And they have a lot of great stuff. Okay, GoToMeeting. It lets you share the same screen. We have built-in HD video conferencing. All you need is a webcam, and boom, everybody's in the same meeting at the same time. And you can see the same screen and work on stuff together in real time. That is key.
Wow.
It allows you to work smarter from any location. You can do it on the run from your iPad, from your iPhone. Sign up for GoToMeeting today. Get that other Citrix tool free for 6 months. Visit GoToMeeting.com and get started. But hurry, this special offer ends tomorrow, October 10th. Don't wait. Visit GoToMeeting.com. Sign up to receive this special offer today. 23 minutes after the hour, right back on the Stephanie Miller Show. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. We're all getting frisky because Jackie Shetner's on her way in. All right,
she's going to be wearing her shorts again.
Wow. 1-800-STEP-1-2, the phone number. So many fun facts about Republican Governor Butch Otter of Idaho,
Yes.
who is the only one blocking gay marriage there, marriage equality.
That's right. Marriage defender Governor Butch Otter's first wife of 28 years was named Gay.
So he was for gay marriage at one point because he was married to a gay. Pardon me?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And also,
Yes.
bonus fun fact, back in 1992 when he was busted for DUI, Butch Otter told the cops that he'd failed the breathalyzer test because his chewing tobacco was soaked in Jack Daniels.
Oh, that's a good one.
He was convicted and ordered to rehab.
All right. Interesting. All right. We were saying, much like Dick Armey, whose original name was Penis Air Force.
Right.
And before that, it was Schwantz Coast Guard, I believe.
Schwantz
Coast Guard, because it was it's embarrassing to be named Dick Armey. So he.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Butch Otter apparently, and I had to dig deep in the Google to find these. He originally was named Femme Woodchuck, and his before that was Power Bottom Ferret. I have to go deep into the Google machine to find those. Butch Otter, much less embarrassing. He's right. I think he landed on a good one. I think he stuck the landing on that.
That might be the first time that the phrase power bottom has been uttered on any airwave ever.
Oh, look, we're at a hard break. 29 minutes after the hour.
Oh, my God.
Right back on the Stephanie Miller Show. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. Carlos Alazraqui on the Happy Hour podcast this week. Very, very exciting.
Yes.
The return of Carlos Alazraqui. This time with video. He did the original, the pilot Happy Hour podcast.
That's right.
Which has been listened to far too many times because you are all filthy.
Yes, and because it was hilarious.
I think it's up. I think it's up to 11,000, 12,000 times.
Something like that.
Okay.
Yep. And then,
which is the crack we originally offered that made it explode.
Yeah.
All right.
And then next week we have the return of Frangelum Happy Hour podcast.
We have a lousy with bookings. We have Elvira for Halloween week.
Yep.
Cassandra Peterson. We have Jen Kirkman coming up.
Yep.
All right. And many, many more, as they say in the show business. All right, 1-800-STEP-1-2, the phone number. Let's go to Michael in California. Hi, Michael.
Hey, Steph.
Hey.
Kristen and Travis. Now, I'd like to address the ISIS issue. If our Congress is out of session again, and we are at war again, who's our allies? Saudi Arabia, who I believe beheaded 19 people in a soccer stadium last month. So we're going to team up with them to take out people that behead people?
Yes,
Saudi
I've
Arabia?
mentioned that several times on the show. Yes, I know.
Exactly. I mean, so what do you think, man? We're going to team up with them?
First of all, I love it when you call me man. But, yeah, I listen, this has all created strange bedfellows. I mean, what more can you say about that? I mean, look, we've pretended to be friends with Saudi Arabia for a long time, so I guess this isn't new in that sense. But all right, back to the happy news about Ebola.
Ew.
Okay, Dr. Thomas Frieden of the CDC talking about the travel stuff.
These 5 airports represent about 94, nearly 95% of all of the 150 travelers per day who arrive from these 3 countries. The Department of Homeland Security, CBP, Customs and Border Protection will be implementing a new detailed questionnaire, as well as a temperature taking and providing information to each traveler.
The 5 airports, he was talking about New York, obviously JFK, Washington, Dulles, Newark, Chicago, O'Hare, and Atlanta. And they say 94% of travelers from Liberia, Guinea, and Sierra Leone come through those 5 airports.
And he said it's about 150 people per day.
Yeah, he said, we believe these new measures will further protect the health of Americans, understanding that nothing we can do will get us absolute zero risk until we end the Ebola epidemic in West Africa. Kevin in D.C., you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Kev.
Oh, good morning, Alabama.
Hello, Mandingo Warrior. How are you?
The proper and best way to start a day is to have your melodious voice in my ear.
Yes.
Oh.
All right, go ahead.
All right. Sweet talk.
Enough foreplay. Go ahead.
I have a couple of questions. One is for the ISIS situation. When people say that President Obama should have kept troops on the ground, even though the Maliki government didn't want them out, and they're sovereign governments, they have the right to say that.
Right.
When he doesn't have them stay, it's weakness. But when the rough, tough Bush administration and Cheney signed the very agreement that started it, then they're strong for doing the same thing.
Right. I think you're missing the point. In case you haven't noticed, he's black.
well, there you go. And my second of 3 quick questions is, secondly, a lot of people are running away from President Obama's accomplishments in the tough states, but I'm just curious as to why, when the CBO just reported the deficit, one of their pet peeves about him is that a years-long low. According to Forbes magazine, hardly a liberal magazine, they actually said the economy, now that this, well, when they did this report, it was at 6.1.
I was saying yesterday, remember when Mitt Romney said, if you elect me president, I'll get the unemployment to 6%, in 4 years, right? Like in his first term, Obama just did it in a year and a half.
Yeah. And he got it down. Yeah, he got it down to 5.9. And Forbes actually praises President Obama, said that he's the best, quote, best economic president in modern times. So why are candidates running away?
I know. Bang. Gangsta mic drop is what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. And my third and final question, is why in the world aren't you writhing underneath me with your Jim Tone alabaster? Oh, wait a minute. I said that part out loud.
No, that was the third question. It was in the thought bubble.
Okay, yeah.
Goodbye, Kevin.
Wow, you were making sense, and then you got disturbing.
Oh, and the writhing got involved.
Their dialogue thing.
Writhing. Wow. All right, Kevin. Goodbye, sir.
Good Lord and butter.
Good day, sir. Good day, sir.
Lovely, Stephanie.
I'll be on the fainting couch. Why, I never.
Good day, sir. I said good day.
Steve in Denver, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Steve.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Just a comment on that previous guest you had, Dean. I only caught the last few minutes, but regarding Muslim Americans and the perception that others may have towards them, what I don't understand is why the media, if it's occurring, or why it's not occurring, why the Muslim Americans aren't condemning ISIS in a more profound manner, and really Muslims around the world, but specifically American Muslims.
Well, I think they have, and I think all those what was the letter all the Muslim scholars wrote to ISIS, quoting the Quran.
I mean, I got that, but it would be nice to see, and this would be my recommendation to them, because it's all about public perception, is that, they need to get out there and they need to have a protest. I don't care where, but make it a big event where they are actually condemning what's going on over there. For full disclosure, I occasionally watch Fox. I listen to Fox when I'm on the radio. Don't turn me off. So we got Greta Van Strussen, who has offered to give any Muslim leader airtime on her show condemning ISIS. And to my knowledge, I don't think it's happened yet, and it's very confounding.
I'm not sure Fox News would be the number one destination location for any Muslim that wants to be treated fairly.
However, they are the number one, cable news channel.
Yeah.
Like it or not.
I don't necessarily disagree with him that, of course, obviously people like Dean have, condemned it roundly. And
Unfortunately, I think moderate Muslims don't get play in the news because they're boring.
Right. Whether it's a story about Ebola, nothing that's not scary and fear-mongering and clickbaity.
Yes,
right.
yes. Cable channels these days are looking for clickbait, and moderate Muslims aren't clickbait, unfortunately.
That's well said, sir. I hope that quote is circulated widely. Steve in Orange County.
It's
hello.
a way of putting it so people can understand.
Hello, Steve.
Hey, Steph. Good morning, Mooks. Love you guys.
Thank you.
My wife and I saw you once in Hollywood there, and you're all great.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, regarding the...
It's some public thing, or you saw me privately?
Yeah. Were you peeking in through the window? What was going on?
Well, you were showing off quite a bit there from my angle from the stage, but
at the Pantages.
Yeah, when she didn't wear underwear and she was wearing a dress. Yeah, that famous
that's
night.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
that's a creepy chuckle. Boy. Okay, go ahead, Steve.
The guy, the year. I'm sorry, I can't think of the name now. The Muslim guest.
Dean Obadallah.
I agree with a lot. Yeah, I agreed with a lot what he said, but as far as the criticism of Bill Maher in the whole liberal thing, Bill Maher, he's critical of all organized religion. He was brought up a Catholic. He's got a book.
That's true. No, that's true. But I think Dean's point is that he has focused quite a bit on Islam and not just recently.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but I just don't think it was, trying to defend Bill Maher, but it wasn't presented that he was only attacking Muslims. He attacks all religions.
No, he's anti-all religion. He's very clear about that. But I think it was just obviously Dean had some of the same reaction Ben Affleck did, that some of the stuff he feels is bigoted. I mean, read Dean's piece, because I think it's well reasoned. He picked out specific things. It wasn't like he was just saying he's overall a bigot. He's saying on this one issue, these are the things he said that I feel are bigoted. Rick in Cincinnati, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Rick.
Hi. How y'all doing?
Good.
Listen, Muslims, Islam started around 600 or so A.D., and within 40 or 50 years, they began beheading anybody who didn't convert to Muslim. They've been beheading Christians and attacking Western civilization for about 1,400 years now. And I don't know why we would think that they would stop. I mean, why? Why would they stop?
Well, because somebody was making the point that they're a much younger religion, though.
Mm-hmm.
And
Christianity went through its period of beheading people.
Now listen.
Do you deny that?
If it weren't for the Crusades, we'd all be speaking Arabic right now.
Okay, but do you deny that Christianity went through a period of beheading people?
It was a defensive.
Okay, you're making excuses.
It was a defensive beheading?
I wasn't.
You're changing the topic.
No.
I'm talking about Islam versus Western civilization.
Exactly, and I'm giving you a parallel that Christianity did the same thing.
No.
And there are Muslims in Western civilization.
Yeah. I'm not saying all Muslims believe in this form of jihadism.
No, you said when will they stop beheading Christians? They indicates all Muslims.
The jihadists.
Jihadists, okay.
The jihadists within. But the Crusades were a defensive reaction against this attack on civilization.
Okay. All right. It's a defensive beheading. Of course. It's a stand your head law.
Yeah, okay.
It's
Gotcha.
It would be like Florida's version of officer. He looked at me weird, so I had to behead him. It was a defensive beheading.
Yeah. You're changing the subject.
Oh, boy. Did he say if it weren't for the Crusades, we'd all be speaking Arabic?
Yeah.
I think he did. Okay, 45 minutes after the hour.
Oh, boy.
Stand your head law. Okay. 45 minutes after the hour, right back on the Stephanie Miller Show. The Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. 50 minutes after the hour. 1-800-STEPH-12, the phone number, toll free from anywhere. Jackie Scheckner on her way in for Healthcare Corner and other stuff. Not just healthcare,
Things
she is multifaceted.
Yes.
And many splendored. What? Huh? 1-800-STEPH-12, the phone number, toll free. Hey, let's go from Ebola to ISIS. We'll go back to Ebola with Jackie. Because it's nothing but good news these days.
Oh, boy.
ISIS advances in Syrian border town of Kobani.
Yeah.
Despite airstrikes. Yeah, I love Turkey's very helpful. Turkey? The Turkish president said airstrikes alone will not stop the attackers.
Turkey?
Mm-hmm. But sending their troops?
Computer says no.
No, not so much. Not so much. Turkey has balked at deeper involvement with the American-led coalition against the Islamic State, urges President Obama to focus on ousting the Syrian president. Oh, I see. No help from you on that either. But just Obama should get all that done. And presumably our boots on the ground, is that what...
the notion that the United States should be putting boots on the ground would be a profound mistake.
The White House continues to insist there will be no boots on the ground.
Who are these boots on the ground? Who are the boots? Whose boots are they? Where are these boots coming from?
We know what that means. Why should we call boots on the ground boots on the ground?
The president's determined that those boots will not be American boots.
All right. For Rocky Mountain Mike, I made an exception. We can still use the term
yes, okay.
boots on the ground. Okay, the president on ISIS.
It remains a difficult mission. As I've indicated from the start, this is not something that is going to be solved overnight.
Josh Earnest, the White House press secretary, on the very same subject.
You have seen the U.S. military carry out airstrikes in this region that have degraded the ability of ISIL to carry out this function. Now, is this going to stop ISIL from overrunning Kobani? No, I don't think anybody knows.
By the way, you can always count on Republican dopes to fearmonger. I mentioned this earlier. GOP Senate candidate ties ISIS to Mexican drug cartels. Oh. Representative Tom Cotton, Republican of Arkansas, running to unseat Mark Pryor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Suggesting his opponent is weak on national security, Cotton told constituents that extremists from the Islamic ISIS are actively collaborating with Mexican drug cartels to infiltrate the U.S. border and attack Arkansas.
Oh, God.
Oh, my
Okay,
God.
Arkansas is not a border state.
Right. There's that.
Yeah.
He says not just an immigration problem. We know now that it's a security problem. Groups like ISIS with drug cartels in Mexico. He didn't throw Ebola in here?
No.
Who have clearly shown they're willing to expand outside the drug trade into human trafficking and potentially even terrorism. They could infiltrate our defenseless borders and attack us right here in places like Arkansas. HuffPost noting, never mind the U.S. southern border isn't defenseless. Never mind that Arkansas is a contiguous state located hundreds of miles from Mexico. Never mind that ISIS probably would have trouble locating Arkansas on a map. And never mind that two of the country's top intelligence officials said there is no credible evidence to support the theory that militants are operating in Mexico, threatening to... Okay. I love they point out the operating word for Cotton is, it could happen, much like anything could happen.
Yeah.
That means
it's the Judy Tenuta rule.
Right, he's a Judaist.
Yeah.
He's Judaism.
He's a follower of Judaism.
Right, it could happen.
Yeah.
Could happen. Absolutely could happen. I bet you they're plotting against Arkansas as we speak.
Sure.
James Comey, FBI Director.
It's a huge focus of all of us in law enforcement, trying to understand who's being recruited, who's flowing, who's looking to flow back.
You know what is more likely to happen?
What?
That Judy Tenuta will be booked on the Happy Hour podcast.
It's in the works.
Okay. That could happen, but it has a reasonable chance of happening.
Yeah. If she's been with us before, she loves being with us.
Right.
So, yeah.
We love her. Michelle in Chicago, as we do Michelle in Chicago. Hello, Michelle.
Hi, guys. I listened to you forever. I've never called before, but I wanted to talk to you really quickly about some guy who said that there's no moderate Islam representatives decrying ISIS. That is, when I was 25, I was entering the workforce. I was facing all kinds of discrimination that women face, basic lechery from older people. Mm-hmm. And then the man show came out. And at the end, there's women jumping up on trampoline in their underwear.
Yeah.
And if I could decry that to the world, I would. I was like, thanks a lot, idiots. You're making my life a lot harder. But what am I going to do? Call Greta Van Susteren? Do I complain about it? There's no platform for people with moderate views to complain about people who are poor representatives of them. And how stupid is it that you said it right after you had on a moderate Islam representative talking about how poorly they're presented.
Right. No moderate Muslim says that. Well, one just did.
Yeah.
Right here.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Anyway.
All right. Thank you, honey. Let's go to Bill in Chicago. Hello, Bill. Welcome.
Hi guys, I'm so glad you're on this because I think it's really important. And just as a quick aside to that, the 10 supposed ISIS militants that come across the border. I'm working on an article, and I called Homeland Security yesterday, and they could not confirm that number. So again, it's one of these numbers like the 10% of Muslims who are against us sort of number that just comes out of nowhere.
Right.
And it gets repeated often enough.
Well, no, I actually heard right-wing radio hosts yesterday saying, because it's before the elections, they're probably not telling us how many they're catching. There are probably lots, and probably there could be 100 that have come.
Oh, millions. They're everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah. But I got into a radio feud a little bit with the deposed Illinois representative Joe Walsh not too long ago when he brought up this about where are the moderate Muslims. If you Google, and this is how simple it is. If you Google Muslims condemning ISIS, and I'm a Catholic kid who went to war in a Muslim country, so I do have a dog in this fight here a little bit, or at least an understanding of it. If you Google that, you will get thousands and thousands of hits of moderate Muslims all over the world, all over the planet, crying and condemning ISIS.
Yeah, guess what? If it didn't happen on Fox News, it doesn't mean it didn't happen. But at least Joe Walsh is pleasant to talk to, right?
Oh, he's just a charm. Thanks, guys. Have a great show.
All right, that's just fun anyway.
Yeah, but I do think there is a problem of visibility of moderate Muslims saying this because the media won't run it.
Dave in Minneapolis, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show, Dave.
Good morning, Mama.
Hello.
There is you want to look for a moderate Muslim. Why don't you come to the state of Minnesota and look at our Keith Ellison?
That's right.
Yeah.
Our representative, who's just amazing. What an incredible human being he is. He is. He's just an amazing man. And the other thing is, whenever we start, this guy was talking about there's no such thing as a moderate Muslim, and there's no such thing. Christians never did this, did that. We're absolutely rife with examples of that. It's ridiculous. Of course, the Inquisition. How about the Salem witch trials?
Remember that guy was it Gomer? So we got to keep the Muslims out of Congress?
Yeah.
I think they neglected to notice, he didn't sneak in. Minnesota's elected him. Right, to Congress. So there's that little constitutional black. Whatever. Not important now. All right, 58 minutes after the hour. Jackie Scheckner next on the Stephanie Miller Show. What? We're all here. Everybody look alive. All right, it is the Stephanie Miller Show. 6 minutes after the hour, 1-800-STEP-12, the phone number. Toll free from anywhere. StephanieMiller.com, the website. Check it out. Check it out, everybody. Still letters rolling in from the fine people that donated to Free Speech TV.
Oh, yay.
Kathleen, I support Free Speech TV. Steph, my donation was only $30. I wish it could have been $1,000 so I could not only have lunch with you in the MOOCs, but get my hands on one of those whore aprons. Well, next time, but thank you. Anything you can give is much appreciated. I encourage anyone who listens to you in the fine programming at Free Speech TV to give what they can. So few venues that aren't beholding to the corporate world. Let's face it, the state of mainstream journalism is pretty sad.
Yep.
It is sad. It's a sad little world without Free Speech TV. All right. Thank you, everybody, for your generosity. All right, Jackie Scheckner, you're like air traffic control, Travis.
She's at the light, waiting to turn to get in here.
Oh, okay. All right, Jackie Scheckner.
She's made some progress since we last talked to her.
It's good that we grabbed her by the scruff of the neck like a kitten last time and put a little chip there so we know exactly where she is.
I'm tracking her.
Yeah. It's like Uber. You can see exactly where she is. She's just a little dot.
You don't have the Jackie app on your phone?
A Jackie app? I do not. A Jackie appy. Let's see. What love letter from... Let's see, Ryan in Toronto, Mama, Chris, Travis. As a Canadian, I must, of course, begin with an apology, as my wishes for a happy 10th anniversary to all of you, and a happy mumbled number birthday to you, Steph, are late. It's okay. So I'm sorry for that, eh? Hope you enjoyed Werther's, maybe got a birthday kiss from Lillian Gish or Jessica Tandy's grandmother. Thank you. It never gets old, the I'm old humor.
Yeah,
Been a listener for more than 5 years, a subscriber for 2, and in spite of how odd you may think it is, you really do keep most of us sane and happy.
Aw.
Well, it is odd, considering how very, very lightly tethered we are to our own sin.
I would say sane and drunk.
Right. Now there's the damn happy hour podcast. There is more reason to rejoice. Love you, Chris, Jim, Travis, John, May, Jackie, Carlos, and of course, Max and Fred, Ryan in Toronto, and of course, C-word. That's a salutation.
That's a punctuation mark, isn't it?
Oh, Now, you have to correct Chris, who is, I think by now we all know, generally wrong about everything.
He has a calendar that I update on a regular basis.
Okay.
Frangela is in 2 weeks.
Frangela is in 2 weeks, not next week on the Happy Hour.
Oops.
This week, Carlos Rocky.
Yes.
Next week, we're still working on it.
I've got some emails out there.
Yes.
I'm waiting for confirm.
All right. So Frangela is in 2 weeks.
Frangela's in 2 weeks.
And then the week after that is Elvira?
Yes.
Okay.
Our good friend Cassandra, all right, live in studio.
I know. Are we dressing up for the Halloween podcast?
I don't know.
No.
Listen,
I can put on the football uniform I wore last year.
I've got a Halloween costume that I could wear.
Let me guess. It's a brony thing, right?
No. I've got a really good one for this year.
Okay. All right.
I've got a really
Elvira
good one.
will be the judge.
It's
of
a
that.
superhero of some sort, isn't it?
All right.
Maybe.
And when is and Jen Kirkman is booked?
We are going to be taping Jen Kirkman the same week as Elvira.
But she's going to be in the can.
We don't know when that'll drop, as Beyonce says about her latest album.
Probably Thanksgiving week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Speaking of entertainment, my friend Jay Leno's going back to television, ladies and gentlemen.
Really?
Really?
Yes.
For the second, third time?
Again.
Is it going to be at 10 o'clock?
No, he is hosting a show about cars on CNBC.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm not saying it's about selling the car alarm.
Coming soon, it's the Jay Leno car alarm.
It sounds like Ted Cruz.
That's my 62 Studebaker. Yeah, that's that. Damn kids, you get away from the damn car. The Jay Leno talking car alarm. Now available in stores for Christmas. Snap-on gin sold separately. Only $19.95.
That's Carlos Rocky. But we won't join us for the happy hour this week. Okay. All right, let's go to Jim and Torrance. You're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hello, Jim.
Hello, Stephanie.
Hi.
I'd like to weigh in on Bill Maher as a bigot.
Okay.
All right. I didn't say Bill Maher is a bigot, but okay, go ahead.
Well, I really feel that basically Bill Maher points out that in the doctrines of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, it's right there. They don't tolerate apostates. They don't tolerate other religions. They don't tolerate women hardly. What's the myth? It's just various times in history, each religion has been virulent enough to be more violent than other times.
Mm-hmm.
And we recognize now that...
Right, but obviously a lot of Christians don't believe everything that Christian fundamentalists believe that's in, the Old Testament, right? I mean, we just had Dean Obadallah on, who's a Muslim, who does not believe in their treatment of women or any of the stuff you're alluding to.
Yeah, but 1,000 years ago, if I said what I'm saying to you now, I'd be saying Christianity.
Jackie's home. Okay, everybody, just don't worry about it. We're not broadcasting yet. Wow.
Wow.
Oh, good morning, Jackie Scheckman.
Wait, I'm not plugged in yet. Hold on.
Who's a little traffic cranky?
I know. I wish you lived farther away and there were more traffic.
All right. You know, while Jackie's doing her headphones, let's talk to Babs in Chicago. Hello, Babs.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey.
Boom, boom, shake the room.
I just wanted to say I've been enjoying your video podcasts, and I noticed something. I have a public service announcement for you.
Okay. All right.
When you toast to each other, you have to sip your drink, because in our circle, that means if you don't sip, you have 7 years of bad sex. And I don't think anybody wants that.
So that's what happened.
So that's what happened to me.
Wait, I thought you had to look each other in the eye.
No, that's the other one. You have to look each other in the eye, right, Bab?
Oh, and a wink, too. That's always good.
All right.
I don't wink very well.
Oh, Babs, I think you might just be a little slutty. Am I right?
How about, or a nod of the head. Just a nod of the head.
All right, we'll do all of that. What are we, all at a party in Santa? Do we have to do this, too? Hand pistols? How you doing? Good luck. Okay.
Hi, Jackie.
Hi.
How are you? Okay.
Oh, wow.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm good. I'm okay.
Let's start with the W.
You look gorgeous today, by the way.
Yeah, you always do.
Sweetheart.
Yeah. I mean, you look beautiful every day, but today you look
Somebody
stunning.
went a little blonder because they're still single.
I told you that came from my hairdresser,
Yes.
right? Yeah, I went in to get my hair done after my last breakup, and he picked the color for me. We got done. I went, oh.
She's going to look like Billy Idol soon.
I was like, I can't go any blonder. I go, it's a little blonde. And he's like, you're single now.
What was I going to say? Well, here, I know the traffic sucks here. Yes. But the good news is you don't live in Florida anymore. We always save the WTF in Florida stories for you.
I love these stories.
Florida family butt dials 911 while planning to do their next meth cook.
Oh.
Don't you hate that? Hate that.
As you do.
Alleged mother-son team, meth-making team. So that's nice because it's
bonding.
Because it's
Yeah,
family.
it's family.
Yeah. Managed to alert law enforcement when they accidentally dialed 911 while preparing to cook some meth at their Florida home. An unintentional cell phone call, possible butt dial. The dispatcher listened as she heard a bubbling sound as something was cooking.
That's a whole new turn on the sit down with your family for dinner.
Right. The dispatcher kept the call connected for half an hour while deputies tracked the phone to a home in Deltona, in case you're wondering where.
Okay.
Where they discovered a shed full of meth-making materials and smoke billowing out of it. So that wasn't hard to find. They were sending smoke signals as well as calling the police themselves.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Daytona just doesn't sound like a pleasant place.
Deltona.
Deltona. Where's Deltona?
I don't know.
Oh.
It sounds like a Del Rey Daytona combo.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to look on a map.
Okay.
Of weird places in Florida. Okay. I have one of those. Hang on.
My mom grew up in Florida.
Does it count?
Oh, I don't know. She grew up in Inglewood, which is on the Gulf Coast.
Yeah, I don't. Actually, the Gulf Coast parts of it are beautiful. The beaches over there are gorgeous.
Yeah.
Jackie Scheckner.
Yes. Hi.
Hi. Were you aware that you can buy Ebola plush toys and also necklaces? What is it? Necklaces, neckties, coffee mugs?
Yeah.
Do they look like that strain? Is that the
survival kits?
The squiggly little virus?
Right. Yes. Survival kits. There's an ebook on how natural remedies can cure it. Oh.
There's been a line of plush toy viruses and bacteria for a long time. Like you can buy like a streptococcus plush toy.
Really?
Yeah, they're actually.
Are there kids screaming for that?
You know what?
You know what I'd love? I'd love a strep bear.
No, they're in the shape of the virus.
Well, I got that.
Yeah.
But what kid's clamoring for that?
Well, I don't know if kids are clamoring for it, but they make viruses cute.
You know who's clamoring for that? The same people who check WebMD when they sneeze.
Yes.
Yeah, like everybody who thinks that they have something.
Doctors love those people.
Did you see, I don't know if you saw Face the Nation this past Sunday, but who's the Dr. Fauci from
the CDC?
Yeah. So it's how the mainstream media, it's not even just, if it bleeds, it leads, if it's fear-mongering, and, Bob Schieffer is saying, well, flu season is coming. What do you say to people that think they have Ebola? It's like, and he basically said, well, they don't. They're dopes. It's flu season.
Have you been in contact with the bodily fluids of someone with Ebola? No, you don't have it.
I mean, have you licked the festering wound of an Ebola patient?
Have you licked the eyeball of someone with
right.
No. Okay, you're good. Yes.
But this is what happens, right? I mean, now there's this industry springing up around, people buying Ebola emergency preparedness kits or
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that bird flu and swine flu are the same as Ebola, but I spent a lot of time at CNN covering both bird flu and swine flu as if it were this tremendous, horrible thing that was going to take us all down. So I think people have the tendency to get a little nutty when they hear about something in the news, and this is a different epidemic, and I get that, and we need to stop it.
Because it's a horrifying death.
Oh, sure, and we need to stop it where it's problematic in West Africa. I mean, but the people who are going a little nutty over it here need to be toned down.
Right. That being said, there obviously was a mistake made at the hospital in Dallas. There was a mistake made at the hospital in Spain. But, that doesn't mean there's going to be a huge outbreak here. And I think that...
And I hate to say this, but we have medical mistakes all the time, all over the country, all over the world.
You hear about sponges being left in people. This is a more deadly version of that.
By the way, speaking of which, we talked about this, but sure enough, we were talking about Joan Rivers' daughter is going to sue over...
Is she? Yeah.
Because you talk about, in our healthcare system, I mean, look at people with all the money in the world, like Joan Rivers, medical mistakes happen.
Kanye West's mom who died?
I think so.
Oh, having plastic surgery.
Yeah. I was just reading
Don't ask me how I know that.
Yeah,
some things just stick with you.
A close family friend said Melissa does plan to sue the clinic. It's very difficult to discuss something so unpleasant with her, but she's going to launch a lawsuit. They claim that there were two doctors in there, of course, treating her, and one was not certified, right, to do the what do they call that? Larynx.
Was it biopsy? Well, it was her personal ear, nose, and throat doctor or something like that. And I don't know that they weren't I don't know if I'm wrong about
it. Says Dr. Korovin was unauthorized to practice the procedure, was only meant to observe Dr. Cohen. She was not certified to practice by the clinic, and therefore outside the regulations of New York health law.
Because you have to be affiliated with the clinic in order to perform the procedure there.
Yeah.
So
you know what's weird? You know, like our friend Craig that works at Clear Channel, Chris, there's like a bunch of mail that was like left for me, you know, because some of our bereft fans here in Los Angeles that can't hear us on the regular terrestrial radio here in LA because
Sean Hannity?
Right.
Rush Limbaugh?
Right. Okay. But anyway, so there's like a bunch of mail still for me, and one of them was Joan Rivers' book. That, But because we had her on to promote that book. Right before.
Did it get to you?
Yeah, no, I just got it like yesterday, but I realized they sent it when we had her on for the interview a few weeks ago.
Was it inscribed?
No, it was from the publisher, but still.
That would have been nice, too.
Yeah, but it's okay. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, that's what's this Dallas thing. I mean, obviously the family of, is it Thomas Eric Duncan, right, that just died yesterday. I mean, they're obviously upset and want, some answers about his treatment.
I don't blame them.
Because, they're like, here's a Z-Pack. Good luck. Right, and so
I mean, I think probably not trained to recognize it or weren't expecting to see it. And from what I understand, some of the information he gave wasn't disseminated properly to the people who needed to have it.
He did say that he had gotten back from West Africa.
Liberia.
Yeah, from Liberia.
And then there was some discussion of the fact that information didn't make it to the higher up.
Right.
Well, that's why the other thing is
nurse or something like that.
The other thing is he lied, I guess,
on the customs forms.
Right, that he had not been in contact with Ebola patients,
and so if he goes back to he can't. But if he would have gone back to Liberia, he would have been prosecuted.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you for correcting that.
Well.
Okay, so. But anyway, but that's why they just put in new, procedures at airports. Obviously.
Yeah, they're going to do that the
thermometer, right?
Yeah, the thermometer that just gave you.
You pointed at the head in it.
How does that work?
Infrared technology.
Are you guessing?
Sure.
Science!
Yes.
Here is the CDC medical officer. Take a listen.
They're eager to go take care of patients. They really want to serve. They want to help. Many are also very concerned about their safety. I think it's safe to say that some are a little scared.
The volunteers.
Yeah, of course they are.
Yeah. By the way, remember we always heard that we got to fight them over there, so we don't have to fight them over here. We do have to fight a bull over there, so we don't have to fight it over here.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. And it's just hard. I think that infrastructure isn't there, and it's taking a while to build it in terms of the medical facilities and the ability to quarantine people properly.
And bodies aren't being picked up out of the street, and it's customary over there to wash a body and then drink some of the water after death, which is not.
I just
helpful.
All right, Jackie Scheckner is going to, she's going to just settle in and gentle down. And we'll be back with more of Jackie's Healthcare Corner and much more on this.
I like an aggressive entrance. That's all I'm saying.
What?
For a good time.
It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it, 26 minutes after the hour. Nurse Jackie Scheckner live in studio with us. Put down your gadget. Look at me.
I was checking WebMD. What? I want to know if I have Ebola.
Oh, you could just go to the Duck Dynasty guy's website. He says you can't get STDs from biblically correct sex.
And what is biblically correct sex?
Well, I think we all know. Not the homo-gay kind, and not kind anywhere other than missionary for the purposes of procreation. All right, Jackie.
I also think he means within the bonds of matrimony so that you're not sleeping around.
Yes.
Yes, because married people don't sleep around.
Right.
No, they do not. Now, Jackie, you went to yet another healthcare panel because you are part geek.
Healthcare girl.
And part minx.
Today we are...
Whoa, what's happening?
I accidentally hit something, sorry.
All right. Go ahead.
How often does that happen?
Well,
It's nothing. It's a mini stroke. He's fine. He recovers very quickly.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's not Ebola. You're good. No, I did. I went to this panel. It was really interesting. I know, panel interesting. But UCLA, I know, right? I stayed awake. It was awesome. About this Proposition 45 here in California, which would give the insurance commissioner the right to actually reject premium rate increases. Mm-hmm. If you're not asleep already, you will be soon. But the interesting part is that here in California, the insurance commissioner has the right to review rate hikes, but can't do anything about it. Right. And so this would give him the power to actually say that's unacceptable. And there's some very compelling arguments against it, and the insurance companies and their allies are spending a lot of money on advertising. And we were just talking about this in the break. There's one with a couple in a hardware store, and they talk about how they've bought health insurance, and there's an independent commission that has the right to negotiate, and they don't want to lose that. And I think people need to understand the independent commission that they're talking about is Covered California, which is the state-based exchange, which everybody called Obamacare and socialized medicine when they didn't like it. And now all of a sudden they want to call it an independent commission because they don't want any kind of rate regulation. I understand some of the arguments against it in that give the Affordable Care Act some time to work. We don't want to add another layer of bureaucracy. I mean, those are some of the arguments, right? But the way that Anthony Wright from Health Access California put it so eloquently is there's about 1 million Californians right now who are paying what are considered unreasonable rates for their health care. Unreasonable rates for their premiums. So if we can get somebody in there who can do something about it, and that's what we want to do. It's not going to take any power away from Covered California. It's not going to add another layer of bureaucracy. We're talking about somebody who is not going to take advantage of anything, and we think that Dave Jones is actually going to get reelected, and he's an ally of the Affordable Care Act. We just need someone in place who can say, oh, those double-digit rate increases, not okay. Let's put an end to that.
Awesome. All right. 29 minutes after the hour, we roll along with Jackie Schechner on the Stephanie Miller Show. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Jackie's going to tweet a picture of Max in a trucker hat.
He's hipster Max.
It's out.
Okay.
You can see it at...
He's wearing Nathan's trucker hat.
Yeah.
He's even more handsome and romantic. Okay. 34 minutes after the hour. Jackie Schechner, journalist, healthcare expert extraordinaire, and also generally of general hotness. Hello.
Hello.
All right. Hey, let's get back to Ebola, because what's hotter than that?
I did think it was interesting. Somebody gave me a call to ask if I would do an appearance on a show to talk about Ebola and then transition to our healthcare system. And I thought... I don't know that there's really that correlation there. Like, would single payer be better in a case of Ebola? I was like, that's a stretch.
That is a stretch.
That's the best use of the Ebola squiggly thing I've seen. It says worst road trip ever, and it's across the map of the United States. For those of us who have had that road trip, that's funny. Okay. By the way, 100 Marines are heading to Liberia to help with the Ebola fight. The CDC director yesterday.
Today, we are deeply saddened by the death of the patient in Dallas. Despite maximal interventions, we learned today that he passed away.
Is maximal a word?
He's a doctor, not a linguist.
No, I'm just curious. I know minimal. Is maximal a word?
The Dallas mayor.
I'm pins and needles every day in Dallas this week, and yes, throughout the whole 21 days.
21-day incubation period for
And the mayor of Frisco, Texas, as well.
While we are being told the risk is minimal, overabundance of caution, we're taking several actions to make sure that the public health, safety, and welfare is protected.
Because there's, I believe, a police sergeant that's quarantined right now, who went into the apartment and was investigating or whatever.
Yeah.
So he's quarantined.
I mean, I think if somebody has been in proximity and says they don't feel well, then they're just doing this out of an overabundance of caution.
Exactly.
Oh, dear. I knew someone in my audience would have all the virus dolls, and it is Susan in Chicago. Hello, Susan in Chicago.
Hi, Mama. How are you?
Good. Go ahead. Which...
I don't have Ebola, but I did want to tell you that...
Thank God.
I know, right?
I would not be chatting on the radio if I had Ebola, but okay.
No, but I do have polio. I have
the doll.
Typhoid fever.
You're talking about the dolls, right?
Yes.
Not the actual ailments.
Oh, yes.
Because you're awfully chirpy for someone that has
and they're kind of cute, aren't they?
It's all about the outlook, right?
Yeah.
Why?
I also have chlamydia. But it's okay because I also have penicillin.
Chlamydia?
They have a penicillin doll?
Susan,
They have a penicillin doll, and then they have amoeba and scum and fat cells. And they're really cute.
Fat cells?
And they fit in the palm of your hand.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. And they have eyes, but no mouths.
Might I enter...
They put eyes, so they anthropomorphize them with eyes?
That?
What?
Yeah, they have eyes.
Oh.
Might I interrupt here to say porque? Why? Why do you have virus dolls?
Because this little toy shop in our town, my son saw them one day when he was in, middle school, and he thought they were cool, so he grabbed one, and then every time we walked in, we grabbed another one, and now we have a whole little
And now you're going to be on Hoarders in a couple of weeks. Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
Virus doll Hoarders.
Now I can send them to you.
Oh, no. Thank you. Oh, gosh, no. But thank you so much, Suze. All right.
All right. I'll find a picture of them and show them to you. They're really
thank
cute.
you.
Susan, is the Susan date? Is that?
We didn't get to that.
I'd like you to see my chlamydia collection.
Earlier this week, we did a story about a guy that has a basement full of sex dolls that he showed his girlfriend on the first date, and apparently she's cool with it, and they have 3 ways now with the dolls. Right.
Does it count as a three-way?
I don't know if the Duck Dynasty guy says that's biblically correct or not. I don't know if the use of polyurethane...
Wait, does that count as a 3-way? Because it's not actually a person.
To them it does.
It's a doll.
How dare you judge? Oh, there they are. There's the virus dolls.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, those are precious. Yeah, those are great.
Wait, I want to pick out my favorite virus. Which is the cutest virus?
Herpes is kind of cute.
Well, and who wouldn't agree with that?
I kind of want an ulcer. The ulcer's...
All right. Jackie.
Yeah, sorry.
This is what's going to start happening in the midterm. So Mitch McConnell, it's bad when the sports...
You can't have it back. Mad Cow is a front runner right now. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
He needs that because that's where the things are. Okay. Grabby McGrabberson. So Mitch McConnell is obviously Kentucky. We've talked about this, been a kind of gold standard for Affordable Care Act, right?
Sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be bad news for Mitch McConnell. He's got a really tough interview on sports radio.
Yeah.
In Kentucky.
It comes up for vote a bill to repeal Obamacare fully, to repeal it, not to fix it, but to repeal it. What would you vote?
Absolutely. I'd be in favor of getting rid of it, pulling it out root and branch. So far.
But that would take away, Senator, 500,000 Kentuckians' health care now?
Yeah, can I finish my answer?
No. Yeah, how'd that go, the finishing the answer, as to how that's a good thing?
He was very stumbly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Was there an answer to that? Did you catch the end of it? Did he actually...
there was just some arguing, and you really couldn't tell what was going on.
Because there is no answer to that.
No,
a lot of people ask me this question. I get it on Twitter and on Facebook all the time, is if we get some sort of Republican governor or Republican legislature, could they roll back all of the gains? Technically, it's possible, but it would be so wildly unpopular and difficult to do that I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right. It didn't get any better.
Do you believe, sir, in global warming?
What I have said repeatedly is I'm not a scientist, but what I can tell you is even if you thought that was important, and there's some scientists who do and some scientists who don't, but even if you thought that was important, the United States doing this by itself is going to have zero impact.
So do you? But that's a yes, Senator. That's a yes or no question. Do you believe in global warming?
It is not a yes or no question. I'm not a scientist.
Oh my goodness!
No, that's incorrect. At some science, what is it? 99.6% of the scientists in the world. Okay.
Yeah. No, that doesn't.
Wow. Yes.
Pox is cute. It's curly.
Wait, did you steal that back from me to decide which one you liked best?
Kids, pay attention to Mama. Okay. All right, kids. In other dopey Republican news, Representative Shelley Capito, she's the Republican running in West Virginia. She's running for the Senate in West Virginia. Appeared to concede Tuesday that the climate was indeed changing because it's raining outside.
Oh, Lord.
When the moderator asked the candidates if they disagreed with climate scientists who are nearly unanimous in the conclusion that human activity is contributing to climate change, Capito said, I don't necessarily think the climate's changing, no. The reporters questioned her about her position after the debate, and she said she misspoke. She said, is the climate changing? Yes, it's changing. It changes all the time. We heard it's raining out there.
Oh.
My God.
She should probably learn the difference between weather
and climate.
Yeah. Right. Small detail.
There's that. Marge in New Mexico, you're on with Jackie. Hello, Marge.
Good morning, Steph and Jackie and Chris. Jackie, I have a question. Well, I want to bring up a subject for you. In Medicare, the gatekeepers are the corporations, like AMA, pharmaceuticals, the health insurance guys. I think since we're the ones that pay into Medicare, we ought to be the gatekeepers and not the corporations. And this is how they shut out people like me. For about the last 30 years, I have used energy medicine applications, energy medicine being ranging, in my view, from nutrition to acupuncture, homeopathic remedies, tapping meridians, etc. I can't use Medicare for those applications. So I'm just left out in the cold, even though I paid into it. So I consider that taxation without representation. Would you please comment?
Sure. I mean, it's an interesting perspective. There are some insurance plans. I don't know what Medicare covers specifically. I do know there are some private insurance plans who will cover acupuncture as part of a physical therapy program. You can get a certain number of sessions. And there are certain alternative medicines that are covered, but massage therapy isn't, for example. And there are some variations of physical therapy, and of course some Eastern medicine.
I used to use acupuncture for menstrual cramps, which it's very effective.
Thank God you don't have to use that anymore.
Woo! Ever since it became a barren wasteland down there, it's not a problem.
It's not specific to Medicare. I do think though it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on the joke.
Tumbleweeds, barroom doors. Okay, go ahead.
But it is an interesting topic because not everybody believes in traditional Western medicine, and they believe more in an Eastern philosophy, and a lot of that stuff isn't covered, and unfortunately it works better for some people, and that's going to have to come out of their own pocket until we can get a more comprehensive.
Chris and I believe some of it is hooey.
Yeah, well, you have to get a more comprehensive view of what medical solutions work for everybody. But it's a lot, and you'd have to expand it very far to cover everything.
Did you know that vitamin C will prevent Ebola? That's what someone in my inbox told me.
Oh, really? Just take enough of it and you're good to go.
Yeah, there is an e-book that covers natural remedies and government conspiracies.
I like the big vitamin C's that taste like cherry, like sour cherry.
Yes.
Those are delicious.
Yes.
I think if you eat the whole bottle, you'll be good.
Right, exactly.
I'm not
the Stephanie Miller Show does not recommend
eating an entire bottle of the cherry.
Good Lord.
See, we do not believe it actually will keep Ebola away. Okay. I think one of the virus plush dolls would be just as effective.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Are they cute?
A lot of bad. Okay, no matter how bad things are going, your insurance won't cover something, ISIS, beheadings. At least doctors do not have to pull a live cricket from your ear.
Oh, my goodness. How did that happen?
Well, he was sleeping.
I can't stand these stories. Doctors in India discovered a 2 to 3 inch long insect that had been living inside a man's ear. They pulled a live 3-inch cricket from the inner ear of a man who had complained of a bizarre itch. Ew, what is that?
For how long? Does it say how long it was in there?
Well, graphic video posted online shows a doctor using tweezers to pull out the insect who struggles to get away and appears to try to get back inside. As most of us do when we're evicted.
Sure.
Squatters' rights.
Yeah.
The cricket, which burrowed itself headfirst into the ear canal, was probably just looking for a temporary home. Squatter.
Yeah,
exactly.
An
expert said it's likely this cricket crawled into the man's ear while he was sleeping and was just hiding there until night came around. I think my insomnia is bad enough as it is. Now tonight I'm going to be like...
Big cricket problem in this house? Is that... Yeah?
I don't know. No. Maybe they're maybe it could be coming from some barren wasteland area.
Okay. The cricket is coming from inside the house!
From inside my vajay? Okay.
What? You went there!
Come on. 45 minutes after the hour, right back to the remaining moments with Jackie Schechner on the Stephanie. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to Jackie Schechner live in studio.
Maximal is a word.
Okay. Thank you for that.
I have been informed via the Twitters, and then I looked it up, so it is, in fact, a word.
We were being nostalgic, by the way. You were saying, because you just had your birthday party, which started at night. We weren't able to go because it started at 8:30.
It started at 8:30. I didn't get there till 9. So if anybody knows me, that's about right.
Right. And I said I wish that you still had a schedule like I did.
I know those were the days we used to be able to hang out because nobody else would hang out with us.
Right. And when you said I was your only friend and I introduced you to Soul Cycle, I wish we were back to those days when I was your only friend.
You did.
And you had a crappy schedule like me.
You did. No, she called me and said, you want to go to a spin class at 7 o'clock in West Hollywood? And I went, yes. 7 o'clock in the morning. And I said, yes, on a Saturday morning at 7 a.m. I've got nothing better to do. Let's do it.
Yes. Those were the days when Jackie had no life, just like us.
You used to get up a lot earlier than we did.
Oh, yeah, because when I first started, I was doing the Bill Press show.
Which is 3 hours before ours.
Right. So I would get up at midnight to get in on time to work on that script.
Right. And then... Right, and now you have a life, and it's like a Kentucky Derby horse race to date you. It's a whole thing. I would feel better about myself if your life were worse, and I really would appreciate it. All right. Just kidding. Okay, Jackie Schechner Are you pro Spanx or anti? Because I'm a Spanx girl, as is Jennifer Garner, who just had a wardrobe malfunction and showed her Spanx, as I did last week on the Happy Hour podcast.
I have never tried them, but I feel
it makes you feel more secure. It holds everything in. And
yeah, I mean, I've never tried them, but I feel like there are certain dresses I have where they might be beneficial.
BuzzFeed had a video of guys trying on
They do make women's Spanx.
Yes, and they were like, how do people do this? I don't get it.
You got to get the right size, or they sort of your internal organs get kind of shifted around.
I know they make boy Spanx too. Male Spanx.
They do.
They lift and separate.
Manx.
Michelle Obama confessed that she wears Spanx with pride, to which I say, rock on.
I've never
Sandra
tried
Bullock
it.
said in the heat, it leaves everything where it's supposed to be. It puts it, okay. It's like a little hug for your lady bits.
I would imagine if you're walking a lot of red carpets and you're getting photographed a lot, and you want to make sure everything looks perfect.
So then what's Stephanie's excuse? You don't walk any red carpets.
I don't leave my house.
Yeah.
I want.
She wants to feel good going from the basement to her bedroom. She wants to
In
make
case
sure
there's
that nothing falls out.
paparazzi on the way,
on your stairs.
Right down here. I just want to make sure everything looks good. Okay, let's go to Charles in Texas. You're on with Jackie.
Yeah, Jackie. I got a question to ask you about Hobby Lobby and their cost. Seeing as how not providing birth control actually increases the cost of health care because you got childbirth and raising the child, do they pay more for their premiums?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know what Hobby Lobby's paying in terms of what its corporate plan is, but he raises a good point, which is a lot of insurance companies choose not to cover preventive services or like I would say like diabetes treatments or even birth control. I mean, now they have to, but certain things that would lower the cost in the long run. And that's unfortunate because I think if you do a cost comparison of what it would cost to provide birth control versus the cost of birthing and raising a child, the former would be a lot more cost effective than the latter. But it happens in a lot of different other ailments and diseases and cases where the treatment would be, I mean, it's a lot easier to pay to treat somebody with diabetes than to have to amputate. I mean, it's that sort of thing. So, and I use that as an example just because I know that there are people who aren't getting the treatments that they need because the insurance company considers it experimental or too expensive or whatever it happens to be. So it's not always necessarily logical when it comes to deciding what is most cost effective.
By the way, we just got an email asking us if we're trying to run from the Walmart healthcare story. Did you hear about this?
No.
Walmart has pushed employees.
Yes, clearly we're trying to run from it in that I don't know what you're talking about. Go ahead.
Walmart has pushed, about 20 or 30,000 people off of their health care in order to save money.
Yeah, well, that would just be another thing that Walmart does because Walmart creates its own consumer base.
Is there
Walmart
we're
pays
running,
its employees.
We're running from it because it's the president's fault and not Walmart's fault. Is that okay?
Yeah, Darren Park says, are you trying to run from this story?
No, you know what? I'd have to read more about it and then I can comment on it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't surprise me because Walmart
It's a cost-saving measure.
It creates its own consumer base. It keeps its employees.
Walmart has to have canned food drives for its own employees because it won't pay them enough to afford canned foods.
Yeah, it keeps them at such a low salary level or a low hourly wage level that they have to buy at Walmart because they can't afford to buy anywhere else. That's how it generates its own consumer.
They're basically pushing everybody who works under 30 hours off of health care.
Well, then they go out into the exchange and they buy on the exchange, and then Walmart has to subsidize for every person who goes out on the exchange to buy health insurance. I mean, that's the employer responsibility factor. It doesn't kick in until next year, but that's why the employment responsibility mandate is there. Is because if you kick people off of your health insurance, you have to then compensate the taxpayers in some way.
Right.
So
since we have mentioned my geriatric lady bits this morning, and whatever's happening down there, I'd like to do a hopeful story. Melissa Etheridge talks about sex after 50 and why she's feeling very lusty lately.
Oh. Okay.
Yes.
She used the word lusty?
Lusty. She said when she was looking at the reviews of her latest album, she found a description of her new songs. Melissa Etheridge is very lusty.
That's not her word.
She said sex is better after 50. She said Barnes & Noble didn't want to play one of her songs because it's a song about driving home and wanting to have sex with your wife in the store because it was too overt. Because until previously, no one knew that Melissa Etheridge was gay. What? Barnes & Noble was shocked.
I can't imagine that Barnes & Noble would want to play any sexually explicit songs over there.
I thought they just had Muzak. Do they have like real?
I didn't know they played music.
Yeah.
Okay. It's been a while since I've been in a bookstore, actually.
she's very happy with her new wife, Linda Wallem, co-creator of Nurse Jackie.
That's right.
Oh, that's right. I heard that on the radio the other day.
Yeah, the pair wed in May of this year, just days after they both turned 53 on their shared birthday. I was at.
They have the same birthday?
I was at their birthday party, what was it, 3 years ago, something like that. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So all lesbians do know each other?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, indeed. And she said their chemistry is part of what makes intimacy even more exciting later in life. So there.
I don't know that that's an age thing.
I ever
it's
take
just
these
a chemistry thing, right?
Yeah. If I ever take these Spanx off, there's going to be trouble, is what I'm saying. Jackie,
hi.
Where can we follow you on the not in a creepy way on Twitter?
No, at Jackie Scheckner on Twitter and Jackie Scheckner TV on Facebook.
And you have a blog.
I do have a blog. It's JackieScheckner.com, and all the links are on there too. So it's Jackie with an I, no E.
That's right.
Because she is
for Scheckner, you're on your own.
She's part nerd and part lusty, as Melissa Etheridge would say.
Part I'm a little lusty this
part
morning.
Saucy,
Sure.
saucy and minxy.
Maximal lustiness.
Yes, with the blonde hair and the short shorts.
Well, you know.
All right.
I do what I can.
I love you, Jackie. We'll see you tomorrow
Love you too.
on the Stephanie Miller